This is going to be a video response for Fringe 111's husband. And I'm sorry I can't think of your name offhand. I should have looked it up before I started this video, but I didn't. But anybody cool, anybody cool enough to marry Fringe is cool enough with me. I do like your videos. I've watched them all from the start. In fact, I think I may have even commented on every video you've ever made. I'm not positive about that. I'm pretty sure I have, though. But anyway, having said that, you made some very choice comments about the sitting President of the United States and also Blackwater. And real quickly before I start this, I want to defend some of the men and women that work for Blackwater. I have a very good friend that works for Blackwater. He's prior Marine, the United States Marine, and he is a class act. And I think the world of him, and I really do truly think that the majority of the employees at Blackwater are decent human beings. I know my buddy is, and he's a very dangerous job, and he does it with the utmost of professionalism. And I know that he would never do anything that would be misconstrued as inappropriate. That's my personal feelings about it. Are there some bad apples in Blackwater? Bad apples in everything in life. But to call them killers, not cool. My buddy is not a killer. He's a professional who risks his life to protect lives. So, having said that, you consider Truman, President Truman, to be one of the greatest presidents ever, and I have to disagree with you. As much as I respect your opinion, this one here, I'm just going to have to listen. I'm going to have to deconstruct him, feel free to rebut on my rebuttal. In order to deconstruct Truman, I really kind of have to talk a little bit about Roosevelt. Okay, when Roosevelt's handlers and Roosevelt chose Truman to be his running mate for the last election, they chose him for a lot of different reasons. One of which was that he was not very liberal, and apparently in a time of war, you don't really want somebody extremely liberal. And I agree with that. However, when they brought him on board and Roosevelt won the election, Roosevelt declined to inform Truman of anything that was going on. And for the most part, and this is against Truman, he never demanded to know. Probably would have been a good idea for him to be enlightened on a few things like, I don't know, what was said at Yalta, the atomic bomb, little things like that, but, never happened. So Roosevelt, in my opinion, there's a lot of reasons for Roosevelt not to be considered a great president either, but I'm not going to get into that. Anyway, Truman. I want to start with Truman as a senator, okay, before he became Roosevelt's vice president. Senator Truman is quoted as saying, "If we see that Germany is winning, we ought to help Russia. And if Russia is winning, we ought to help Germany. In that way, let them kill as many as possible. Although I don't want to see Hitler victorious under any circumstances, neither of them thinks anything of their pledged world." And and hey, I'm cool with that statement, actually. However, I don't think you would be if it was made today. Okay, let me give you an example. If Bush came out and said about the Shias and the Sunnis, if he said, if the Shias winning, let's support the Sunnis, and if the Sunnis win, let's support the Shia. As long as they keep killing each other and take out a lot of their own, it's all good. You would come unglued if Bush said something like that. But you know what? Truman said something just like that. Now, having said all that, some of my major issues with Truman were, now granted, listen, he was only vice president for 3 months. He didn't know what the hell was going on, but he really got taken to school by Stalin. He shows up in Potsdam, the Potsdam conference in Germany. And Stalin literally carved up Central and Eastern Europe for the communists. In your video, you said that, something to the effect that Truman got a bad rap for being weak on communism. The fact of the matter is that he gave Stalin and the Soviet Union a whole bunch of territory that he should never have done, but he did. Now, in Great Britain's defense, Churchill wasn't there. He lost his re-election bid. Was booted. It was the stupidest thing I think England ever did, and you know, kind of ungrateful on their part too, because Winston Churchill was really an amazing man. So there's it was Attell or Attell for England, Truman for the United States, and Stalin. Stalin just had at it. It was amazing. Listen, Poland is a perfect example of how bad Truman screwed this up. Poland had the fourth largest army on the Allied side during World War II. And they had a government that was in exile in England that worked with the Allies. Ultimately, in the end, what they did was disinvite Poland to the Potsdam Conference and gave the Soviet Union Poland. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Poland sacrificed tremendously in the war effort. And in the end, they were given away to communist Soviet Union. I mean, how do you argue with that? A lot of people don't realize, here's the other thing that Poland's really slap in the face here. Previous to us entering the war, okay, and a lot of people when they think of World War II, they think of the Allies, they think the United States and the Soviet Union were allies, Great Britain, blah, blah, blah. The fact of the matter is that Stalin and Hitler were allies. They basically invaded Poland and carved it up. When Hitler seen how poorly the Soviet army performed, that's what started his wheels rolling. It wasn't until Operation Barbarossa and Germany invaded the Soviet Union did Stalin ever consider himself to be aligned with the United States. In fact, when he was told by his generals that Germany had invaded the Soviet Union, he didn't want to believe it. He couldn't believe it. Him and Hitler were buddies, were partners. So in the end, Truman allowed Poland to get screwed big time. In the end, Stalin got exactly what him and Hitler had started out to get. In fact, Stalin made out like a bandit. Literally. All the treaties and agreements we had with Central and Eastern European countries before World War II were totally disregarded. Completely disregarded. And basically the whole pie given to Stalin. Unacceptable, and absolutely that alone, in my opinion, puts Truman on the major league shit list as far as presidents and stupid moves go. Some say, well, you know, he just became president. Well, you know what? Sometimes you just got to step up to the plate. So, having said that, that's one of the big things I've got with Truman as far as his being a great president. I just don't see it. Now, one of the quotes by Truman I really liked is that at some point, at least, he said that he had no personal experience in foreign matters. Well, I mean, I guess that's kind of what he had to say because, you know, for the most part, the proof was in the pudding, and he actually showed that he knew what the hell he was doing. It's also stated that the Berlin airlift was one of Truman's great foreign policy successes as president. And you know what? The Berlin airlift, absolutely. It was amazing. It was a ballsy thing to do, and I support that. But there would never have been a need for a Berlin airlift had Truman did what should have been done. I mean, just the way I look at it. Now, I want to do this in two parts because there's so much about Truman. I'm going to end the World War II stuff there, but I do want to say something about the Marines. And I got this off of Wikipedia. It says that Truman had a well-known dislike of the Marines dating back to his service in World War I. And famously said, the Marine Corps is the Navy's police force, and as long as I'm president, that is what it will remain. And so they have a propaganda machine that is almost equal to Stalin's. Now, as a prior Marine, that's just disturbing. And he did try to, by the way, in 1948, he tried to disband the Marine Corps. And it wasn't until after a letter-writing campaign by influential congressmen who were Marine veterans that he gave that up. I mean, he literally wanted to do away with the Marine Corps. Why, I don't know. But thank God he didn't. But that was some of the things that he seriously wanted to accomplish. Anyway, I'm going to do a second part to this, and hopefully it's you know, something that you feel that you can rebut to. So anyway, thanks.